Hello everyone, I'm teacher Winnie. Today we will discuss on Physics SPM Trial 2024 for Negeri Sembilan paper 2. So first questions is under the free fall topic. Diagram 1.1 shows a bird feathers that is dropped from a height outside a vacuum chamber, and 1.2 shows the same bird feather dropped from the same height inside a vacuum chamber. And it will found that the feather in the vacuum chamber took a shorter time to reach to the bottom than the feather outside the chamber. Okay, so based on diagram 1, mark tick on the correct answer in the provided box on the correct answer in the box provided for gravitational force that act on the bird's feather. So which is the correct idea? Okay, showing you the first idea is both have the same gravitational force, while the second one, the gravitational force on diagram 1.1 is lesser. So the answer is the first one. So generally, okay, they have the same mass, right? So that's why they're supposed to have the same weight, okay? The idea of gravitational force is equivalent to the weight as well. So that's why the answer will be the first box lah. Okay, next one. So on diagram 1.3, mark and label the direction of forces. Forces are acting on the feather during the falling outside the vacuum chamber. So outside the vacuum chamber, the feather not only acted by gravitational force, but there is another force that opposing it, okay, and make it slow down. That's why it take longer time, which is what we call as air friction. So what you do is, okay, you label the upward direction as air resistance and then downward direction as the weight. Okay, then C. The feather in the vacuum arrived earlier than the feather without a vacuum. Why? Okay, this is because there is no frictional force acting. Okay, or the net force is greater lah. Okay, because there is only down force without any air resistance is acting upward. Okay, question 2. Question 2 is on the form 5 topic on transistor on electronic. Diagram 2 shows a transistor circuit. So what type of transistor is this? Okay, so I will tell a student, okay, how we identify. We look at the arrowhead on this emitter. So current is always flow from positive to negative. So base is always different from the other two leg. So it's NPM lah. Okay, so then you just write NP and transistor. Okay, then based on diagram 2, what is the function for the resistor X and Y? So for information, these two resistors act as a potential divide. While the resistor that plays near the base, okay, so for information, transistor have 3 legs. The center one is called base, then this is called collector, this is called emitter. Then this circuit is actually called base circuit, and then this circuit is called collector circuit. And same go for the current that flow through lah. The current here is called base current, and the current here is called collector current. Okay, so you have to remember lah, they act as potential divider, which means they will actually, due to the resistor here, they will divide the voltage accordingly based on the resistance. If the resistance is high, the voltage is also high on that point. Okay, while Z, because they're placed on the base circuit base leg, that's why it's to limit the base current. Okay, C. Explain why the bulb is light up when the resistor Y is in the dark. Okay, so for information, this resistor Y is also called light dependent resistor, LDR in short. So they actually will have high resistance when dark, but daytime the resistance is low. Then teacher say if the resistance here is high, that means the voltage, or in short, they also call base voltage, they will be actually high as well. When it is high enough, that means the transistor is in the on stage. Then they allow the collector current to flow. That's why the bulb will light up. Okay, because it's only 2 marks. Actually, whatever point that I given, any 2 points, you will get the full marks. Like here, I showed 4. So light intensity is low. Okay, or dark lah, resistance high. Then base voltage is high, and also base current is high. Then you can continue to mention what transistor is on, collector current is flow. So any 2 points from there, you get 2 marks full. Okay, number 3 is from the nuclear physics idea on this radioactive decay. So what is the meaning of radioactive decay? So generally, the big nucleus, they are actually unstable. To make it become stable, they will emit the radioactive radiations. So what is radioactive decay? Process unstable nucleus to become a stable nucleus. by emitting radioactive radiations. Okay, so I will tell student definition, all this in paper 2 memang is a lot one. So you have to try your best to remember how many definition you can. Okay, B, based on diagram 3.1. So what type of decay that occurs? So for your understanding, we have 3 types of decay. We have alpha decay, beta decay, and also gamma decay. So we will look at the radiation that being emitted out. So this is actually beta particles. So that's why this is called beta decays. Beta decays. So how does it occur? Okay, so generally a neutron is in an unstable nucleus. They will actually decompose into a proton and an electron. And then this electron will be emitted at high kinetic energy, and the resulting proton will remain in the nucleus while electron is being emitted as beta particles. Okay, so that's why whenever you all write the equations, right? Okay, this beta particle, the nuclide notation is E 0, -1. So that's why your parent nuclide and the daughter nuclide, the daughter nuclide is actually you add 1, right? On the proton numbers. So this is the reason behind lah. Because it's 2 marks, so 1 is here, another marks you have any of the 1 points here lah. Okay, moving on. This is a decay equation. So diagram 3.2 show the decay graph for strontium 90. What is the half-life of strontium 90? So from the decay curve, the count per minute is 80. So half of it is actually how much? 40. So what you do is you draw the line or interpolation from 40, you move down. So the half-life is basically 2 days. Okay, have to write the unit. So this is how you do. You draw and then 2 days. Okay, so if 80 grams of the strontium 90 has decayed after 6 days, what is the initial mass of the sample? Okay, so generally there are 2 ways to solve the questions that involving half-life. One, you use the arrowhead method. Another one, you use equation. Okay, now because the given idea they want the initial mass, they didn't tell you all the initial mass. So it's a bit hard to use the arrowhead method to solve this equation. Indeed, you use fraction, but using formula way is much more easier. Also, let's understand what is the formula that involved. So the formula involved in this context is n equals to half n times n naught. So n naught is the initial mass and also something that we want to find out. Okay, so they say 80 grams already decay. Okay, but normally this n is referred to not decay, not decay punya idea. Okay, so therefore, what should I do is I want to have the one that has decay, right? I know that. So I already have the 80 grams. So that means the not decay will be actually n naught minus 80 lah. Okay, then this small n is referred to number of half-life. So as you know, the T half itself is 2 days, right? So I want to find this small n. I use the amount of times days, 6 days divided by 2. So actually it's 3 lah. So I will have half n. Okay, and again, unknown is n naught. Okay, then this small n is basically 3. So now I will have n naught minus 80 equals to 1 over 8 n naught. Then I just rearrange lah. Okay, make the unknown one at one side. Okay, so n naught minus 1 over 8 n naught equals to 80. So I will have 7 over 8 n naught equals to 80, and I want n naught So 80 times 8 over 7. So finally, I will get my answer 91.4286 grams. So this is the answer. Now, in case any of you want to try out the idea of the arrowhead, the idea is we will use the fraction. So because they didn't tell us initial how much, But then same thing, you still also need to find out the number of half-life that undergo 3 times. Okay, so for the arrowhead idea, it will be like this, okay, in case any of you interested on knowing how to do. Okay, so we will use the fraction, which is full fraction is what? 1. So 1 time of half-life become half. Second time, 1/4. Third time, then 1/8. Okay, but this one is not decay mass. So has decay means 1 minus 1/8 lah. So we have 7/8. So we have 7/8. Then from here, 7/8 is actually how many gram? 80 gram. Okay, so N naught is 8/8. Okay, then you are finding the ratio idea. 7/8 is to 8/8 or 1 equals to what? 80/N naught. So finally, back to the basic, you will get N naught equals to 80 times 8/7. So we will still get the same result, 91.4286 gram. So using formula is easier for these questions. Okay, now we move on to the next questions. So question 4. Diagram 4.1 show a hydraulic chair used by attendants to elevate the patient's position. So what is the physics principle used here? So it's actually what? Pascal principle. Make sure your spelling is correct lah. Okay, what will happen to the pressure of the liquid when the pedal is pressed? So based on the definition of Pascal principle, as you know, okay, when pressure is applied, the pressure is transmitted uniformly. So that's why the keyword, you must say it uniformly, transfer, okay, in all direction. Then how the hydraulic chair achieve the force multiplication by applying the principle state in 4A1, okay? So basically, the difference is due to the surface area. So for information, pressure is same, but the difference is the surface area of the piston and also the force applied. Okay, so basic concept, we have this pressure same, P1 equals to P2, assuming P1 is the input, then P2 is output. So F1 over A1 equals to F2 over A2. So I tell student, when your area is small, then your force will be small. Small area, small force. Big area, big force. So we always will apply small force. So the pedal one should be the input, which is small one, okay? And then the bigger object or even the hydraulic jack used for car, they will be on the output piston, which have bigger surface area. Then we will multiply the force. So the way how we transform into sentences, the surface area of input piston is smaller compared to the output piston. And then small input force is applied on the pedal called a large output force. Or you can also rewrite whereby F1 equals to what? Okay, A1 over A2 times F2. Oh, sorry, I do the reverse way. We should use F2. Then you will see the multiplication idea. So F2 is basically A2 divided by A1 times F1. So if your ratio of your A2 and A1 is bigger, that means your output force will be bigger. Okay, B. A car of mass 800 kg with a base area of 1.102 times 10 power 6 millimeter square is placed on the piston B. If the multiplying factors is 250 times, so what is the surface area of piston A in SI unit? And then next, calculate the force required to lift the car. So just now teacher got mentioned the force multiplier or the amplification factor is A2 is to A1. Okay, so to get the idea, okay, your A2 is to A1, or A2 divided by A1 is equals to 250 lah, the idea. Then I have the A2 mark, which is this one. But this is not SI unit, millimeter square. So how do you change it to SI unit? Okay, so milli itself is 10 negative 3. Okay, milli is 10 negative 3. So I just tell student it will become 44808 times 10 power negative 3 milli. Then bracket the whole thing, you square it. So generally, okay, you will have 4408 times 10 power of negative 6 meters square. But this is not the correct standard form. So you change to the correct standard form lah. You will have 4.403 times 3, 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. So you have this form. Or you can leave it in decimal point, no problem. Then move on. How do we get the force idea? We are using the F1 over A1 equals to F2 over A2 idea lah. So I already have this. You can actually straight away time 250 up to you, which means this F1 is 800 times 9.81, where we change F1 to become weight, which is mg lah. Okay. Then you basically have A2 over A1 just now, Okay, I want to find F2, so A2 over A1 is this value. So that's why we always make F2 as subject. So it's actually 800 times 9.81 times A2 over A1, which is 250. Okay, from here. Then you get the answer. Now, or even you want to use back the area over here. Okay, also not a big deal lah. You use this and this is still same answer one you're supposed to get. Okay, so minimum 3 decimal point lah calculations. So that's why these questions 5 marks are a lot. Okay, question 5. So question 5 and 6, teacher will say is a conceptualization questions where you compare. Okay, so diagram 5A and 5B show an experiment to determine the relationship between the volume of trapped air and pressure that is exerted to it by the piston at room temperature. So first, define gas pressure. So what is gas pressure? Force per unit area caused by what? When the gas particle collide with the wall of the container. So for your understanding, when the gas particle inside, they collide with the wall of the container, they will actually produce momentum. So change in momentum per unit time or rate of change of momentum is referred to the force. So the force that acting on the surface area, okay, is actually pressure. So pressure in short is force per unit area, but then they want particularly gas pressure. That's why we say it's due to the collision between the gas and also the wall of the container lah. Okay, next, observation. So generally, okay, for information, what is the function of pressure gauge? To measure gas pressure lah. Gas pressure. And then where do we see the volume idea here lah? So obviously what happened to your volume? Volume in 5A is bigger or 5B is smaller lah. Then pressure, you see the deflection. So when smaller, pressure is higher. Okay, so the relationship is generally inversely proportional. So what is the idea that relate volume and pressure? Remember the ice cream cone teacher say PV T, and then the three side refer to what? Guru Bahasa Cina. So pressure and volume is basically Boyle's law. Okay, so these are the correct idea, The volume of trapped air, 5A more than 5B. Pressure of trapped air, 5A less than 5B. Relationship, smaller the volume, the higher the pressure. Okay, and lastly, what is the law involved? Boyle's law. Make sure your spelling is correct. E-O-Y-L-E apostrophe S, then law. Okay. D1, based on answer in 5C, what happened to the kinetic energy of the air particle when the air is compressed? Now, for your understanding, kinetic energy always relate with the idea of temperature. When we heat up the gas particle, then they will move at higher speed because they gain more kinetic energy. So in this context, are we actually increasing the idea of temperature? No, right? So supposedly, there's no change. The reason, okay, no change in temperature. So be very clear about the concept lah. Okay, but why the pressure increase is because the collision is more. The frequency of collision. You see, when your gap is smaller, okay, can you imagine now this distance is longer, this distance is shorter. So you are running from here to here. So of course, here you run more round than over here. Get the idea? So your collision here, the frequency is higher. This one is less. So when frequency is higher, that's why your pressure increase. Okay, now E. Diagram 5C show a vertical glass tube which consists of a small amount of trapped air by a column of mercury. And then the length of air, trapped air column and mercury column are 10 cm, 4 cm respectively. Then an amount of mercury is added into the glass tube. What is the length of mercury column when the length of air trapped air column is 9.5 cm? So generally, we are using the Boyle's law idea. Also, initially, we have P1 equals to P2, V2, okay? Based on this ice cream cone idea, PV is side by side, correct? Okay, but in this context, we don't use volume, we use the idea of length. So we have P1, L1 equals to P2, L2. Okay, so in terms of the idea of length, you have 10. Okay, then later on become 9.5. Okay, about the idea of the pressure is, okay, you have this atmospheric pressure, which is 76 cm, but you added with 4, so you will have 80 cm. So you see, we will have the P1 80. Then P2 wise, right? We will have 76 plus X. Okay? Because we don't know the X idea of the added amount. Because the added amount will cause higher pressure. That's why your length become shorter, 9.5. Okay? So the amount of the mercury that we added later on is about 8.21 cm. Means from 4 increase to 8.21. So this is a bit special questions are not direct. Also, you have to figure out, okay, when you have this mercury, right, you actually added the pressure of atmospheric pressure together to get this and this idea. Okay, number 6 is another comparison question or conceptualization questions. So diagram 6.1 shows an identical weight, type, and pull on two spring balance P and Q. And 6.2 show the situation when this spring balance Q is pulled with a different force. Okay, so generally this is a idea to show forces in equilibrium. So if your tension or your pulling force is different, right? So your end result everything will changes lah. Okay, but your weight will remain at a rest positions, forces in equilibrium. Okay, so firstly, A. Take for the correct answer in the box provided. What is the meaning of resultant force? So resultant force acting on object that produce zero resultant force. Wrong. A single force that represents the vector sum of two or more forces acting on an object. So generally, resultant force is, in short, I use a simple idea. You had an object, you pull with 3 Newton, another one pull with 1 Newton. So who will win? The 3 Newton. So and at last, it is 2 Newton to the right. So this 2 Newton is the resultant force, okay? Okay, so observe the diagram. Okay, so first they ask you to compare the pulling force. So you are looking at the spring balance, the reading here and here. So Q1 is greater. Okay, then next one is angle. Angle, this one also greater, second one. Okay, and the tension this is 7, this is 8 point something. All will be on the diagram 6.2 is greater. Okay, so this is the way how you all write. Memang you try to write the title back, understand the pulling force Q. Then the angle, theta 1, okay, the tension all mentioned like that. Okay, so vice versa also can. Now my answer scheme, everything is on 6.1. Just now I'll tell you all directly one is for 6.2. So vice versa is acceptable. So what is the relationship? Increase, oh. Sorry, this pulling force with angle first, okay. So when the pulling force Q increases, the angle decreases on a Q. And I think there is a slight mistake in the answer scheme. It's okay. So I corrected. It should be increase. Okay. Then the pulling force Q increase, tension also increase. Okay, then by using the diagram 6.2, draw a scale force triangle to show the relationship between PQW when the angle theta 2 is 50. So once they mention scale force diagram, that means no other choice. You need to use ruler, you need to use protractor, draw to the actual scale. Okay, so how should you draw the idea? So firstly, you need to know the value lah. So your pulling force is 7 Newton. This one is 8.246, 8.6 Newton. And then you have the weight, you have the angle. Okay, so before you draw it up, okay, so for information, direction of tension is away lah, this way. And then the Q pulling force is horizontal but toward right side. And then where is your weight? Your weight is downward. So what you're supposed to do is you're going to rearrange the 3 forces but make it into a triangle. So what I do is I move this to here, I move this to here. You see, you complete a triangle already. So can see the idea? Okay, now I move like that is because it's easier for you to capture the position of the angle. You can draw another triangle as well, but maybe you will confuse where is your location. So what you're supposed to do is you can assume your scale on 1 cm is to 1 Newton. That means you will draw straight down and then you measure 50 degrees and then you draw the length of 8.6 cm. And then you complete horizontal 7 cm. Then you have the triangle of forces now. Okay. See, I put 50 here. That means here is 40. You can label 50 here. So like teacher say it's good, then you can measure and then you can actually measure the length. And this length, let's say you example only, you get 6 cm. That means your weight is 6 Newton, just like that. Okay, in case they ask for the answer. Okay, question 7. Question 7 is the question that's similar like section B essay questions, or you have the part where you have a small table and then they ask you to choose lah. So this question is under electrical energy and power for 4.5 topic or electricity. Okay, diagram 7 show a structure of element and electric air fryer with a specification of 240 volt and 1.5 kilowatts. So what does this label mean? Okay, so as you can see, this volt is the idea of voltage, then what is the idea of power? So I will tell students power is rate of energy dissipated. Generally, they want to change the idea of this power become joule per second punya question. It means joule per second punya idea. So it means when these appliances connect to 240 volt, it will actually use up or consume 1.5 kilojoules energy every second. So we can change to 1,500 joule lah. Okay, so this is the way how you write. 1,100 joule electrical energy is produced or being consumed, okay, when connected to 240 volt power supply in 1 second. Okay, calculate the total electrical energy if the air fryer is used 90 minutes per day in 3 weeks. So normally this type of questions are if they ask you to calculate how many days, all this is they want to calculate the electric bill. So generally the unit for SI unit for electrical energy is basically what? Joule, right? Okay, but when we calculate the bill of electric, so we will actually E equals to, for information, PT. Okay, so joule is actually same at watt second. But because watt second is the value will be very, very big. So normally they will change the power idea to become kilowatt and change the idea of second become hour. Well, for calculations of electric bill later on. Okay, this question, of course, I didn't mention, you can still remain the answer in joule or kilowatt hour. Well, so how do you change minute to become hour? You divide 60 minutes. Then this already in kilowatt, so you don't need to do anything. So how do we solve it? Okay, how the 90 minutes become 1.5, like teacher say, look, you use 90 divided 60. So 1.5 hour. Well, then 1.5 kilowatt times 1.5 hour, and then times 3 weeks. So that's why times 7 days. So your answer will be 47.25 kilowatt hour lah. And then normally they will ask students to calculate the bill lah. So they will say, if let's say 0.2 kilowatt hour is 1 kilowatt hour is 20 cents. So then you calculate the electric bill lah. Okay, C. Table 1 show 4 types of air fryer, Q, R, S, and T with different specification. So based on table 1, state the suitable characteristic of an air fryer so that the food is cooked quickly. So same idea one, okay? You all need to like choose first. Okay, so heating element, okay? So I will tell students, do not confuse heating element with conductor, good electrical conductor like cable, all this. Heating element, indeed, we want it to produce more heat, right? If we want to produce more heat, we need to have high resistance one. So copper and nichrome, which are high resistance, nichrome, understand? Copper is good conductor. They have low resistance, so less heat produced, understand? So we won't choose copper. But we need copper for like electric cable, your handphone charger cable, transmission line, then we use copper, okay? Okay, then next, do you need more fan blade or less fan blade? Okay, you want to produce even more heat, right? Okay, blow heat. So of course more. So once you know it's S, then at least you get 3 marks out of 5 marks already. Okay. So again, what is the reason why you choose nichrome? I say already produce high heat energy, or generally this material is high resistivity. More number of fan blade. Do not write numbers. Don't write 12. Okay, because if I were to have 15, then it will be better, what, right? Push more air out, or more air can be spread uniformly. Then choice, or you write S. Okay, then questions 8. Question 8 will be same like last questions, or open the questions. Again, they will ask you to do some modifications. So diagram 8.1 shows light bulb 36 watt, 18 volt is connected to the output terminal of an ideal transformer. And the bulb is light up with normal brightness. So what is mean by normal brightness? Which means if this bulb needed 18 volt, you supply 18 volt, they will light up normally, okay? So what is the function of a transformer? Okay, it's generally to increase or decrease the output voltage also, but this case, you see the number of turn in secondary is lesser. So that's why decrease the alternating output voltage. Okay, so calculate the current in the secondary coil. So for information, left-hand side is the idea of primary here. Then this right-hand side is a secondary. So they memang give me the idea of power and voltage, power and voltage. So we will use P equals to VI idea. Also, I want to find the I, also I equals to P over V. So 36 over 18, then I will get the answer. So my answer will be 2 here. Okay. Okay, so C, diagram 8.2 shows the electrical energy transmission and distribution system from power stations. So based on knowledge about electrical energy, suggest a suitable method to transmit power so that electrical supply is sufficient and safe. So for information, for transmission line, when why do we use transformer is because we need to reduce the power loss along the way when you transmit electric current to the house. So I always tell students when we generate electricity at the power plant, we will always use the formula P equals to VI, okay? And then during transmission, there is power loss, where it is I square R. So if you want to reduce power loss, you need to have less resistance. So the idea of less resistant idea is like you use a good material like copper, thick wire, okay? But another context, you can also reduce the current along the line. So how do you reduce the current? Okay, you see based on the formula. So power is constant. So if your current is less, that means your voltage have to be high. So that's why transformer A, basically you step up first. You step up first. So what is the reason? Or is because you want to reduce the power loss. And then you see what is the material for the cable? You use copper. Okay, so now we check the answer together. So step up transformer to increase the output voltage. Then copper, thick wire, okay, low resistance, okay. Even for 0.1, you all want to say reduce energy loss also can. And then rate of expansion of the cable. Do you want the cable to expand a lot? Don't mind, right? So low rate of expansion. Reason less expansion and less sagging in the cable during hot day lah. Okay, then we move on to the essay questions. Also, for your information, question 9 and 10, you can choose either one. So always read to the question, confirm which questions, and then do first. But generally, you can answer both. But we will do the extra question after we finish until question 11 first. So question 9 is under Form 4 topic, wave topic on the idea of more towards on reflection of sound wave lah. So diagram 9.1 show a dolphin using an ultrasonic wave to detect a group of small fish in deep sea. So what is mean by mechanical wave? Okay, so for information, we have 3 ways to classify wave. We can classify wave at transverse wave, longitudinal wave, and then we can classify them at progressive wave, stationary wave, and one more is mechanical wave and electromagnetic wave. So mechanical wave means they need medium to transfer. So require medium to transfer energy from one point to another point. So this is a mechanical wave. Okay, so applying the suitable wave concept, explain how the dolphin use ultrasonic wave, okay, to determine the distance of those group of fish. So for information, ultrasonic wave is actually under the category for sound wave, but it's a high frequency sound wave. So firstly, the dolphin will generally emit the ultrasound wave. So when the wave reach the groups of fish, what happen is they will being reflected back. So that's why when ultrasonic wave hit the object of small fish, so at the end, the fish or the obstacle will actually reflect back the wave. Then the dolphin will receive the reflected wave, and then generally the dolphin, they will be able to know the distance through the idea of what generally we can you can add on also by calculating of course the dolphin will use the idea of estimating using 2D equals to VTI here, where D is the distance, V is the speed, and then T is the time, using the reflection of sound idea . Okay, C is the calculation. A dolphin hears an echo from a fish 0.02 seconds after it makes a noise. Given the speed of sound is 1,450 meters per second, calculate the distance traveled by the ultrasonic wave. So generally, we assume the distance is only one way. So that's why we use a general formula, speed equals to distance per unit time. So our speed is 1,450 meter per second. So the distance is unknown, and then divide by 0.02 second, and we have the 29 meter. But the distance of fish is generally you need to divide 2. Because the idea we use back the diagram of the dolphin just now. Generally, this then bounce back is 29 meters. So you want half of it, then you divide by 2 lor. So that's why you get 14.5. Okay, then lastly, part 3, the wavelength of the ultrasonic wave, if the frequency is 45 kilohertz. So we'll use V equals to F lambda. So we have 1,450 equals to 45,000 lambda. Therefore, lambda equals to 1,450 divided by 45,000. You have 0.03222 meter. Okay, then D is the 10-mark questions. Also, these 10-mark questions is related to the drone idea. The use of drone during rescue operation and location surveying of flooded area, especially in areas that are difficult to enter, is seen to be very effective. So by using the tactical drone technology, visuals from area view will be obtained to help flood management agency to assess the current situation of area affected by flood. So high-tech drones are also used to deliver basic supply, especially medicines, food, and power banks. So especially in a hard-to-reach area. So this table shows the information of the type of drone, okay, during the flood disaster location survey. So explain the suitability of each drone features and determine the most suitable drone to be used for visual imaging and basic supply deliver. So always we will find out all the part that you are more confident. Okay, so generally, if you're not sure, should I use ultrasonic wave, infrared, microwave? A bit confusing. Battery also not so sure, right? So many type of battery. Rotor. So should it be single or multi first? So you want more, right? So at least is left J and L law. You cannot choose these two law. Then generally high frequency. So these two as well. Okay. Then lastly, you should figure out which one is the best wave and also the type of battery use. Okay, so if you want to travel further, okay, generally, okay, microwave is the best idea. Okay, so once you know your choice, right, then you will get 6 out of 10 mark by doing the table like this. Okay, provided the way how you write is correct lah. See, this is how you get the 6 mark, the 6 tick that I show. Okay, of course, with the correct reason as well, you can get full marks. So normally, why do we choose microwave? They are high frequency wave. Okay, if they have frequency, generally they have high energy and they are able to travel further lah. So if you are a good student, teacher will always encourage you all to give more reason. Okay, because sometimes if you just write one high frequency and so happen they only accept one time high frequency, then you tak dapat markah lah. Understand? So that's why it is good that you all give more reason if you can. So lithium ion, okay, for information, it can charge faster or have higher power and they're able to rechargeable. Then you have a more rotor, you have higher lift force. And then high frequency, you see, you can use back the similar idea, but if you have more idea, you give more. So in case they only accept one time the same answer, you have different idea. So if they accept here high frequency, then they will accept your high energy here. Or they accept travel further, something like that. And finally, you say, I choose J because what? It use microwave, using lithium ion battery. Okay, you repeat back what you have said on the left-hand side. Then you get full marks 10. Okay, now move on to questions 10. So question 10, actually for this state paper, they're trying to give some idea under quantum physics for Form 5. So so far there is no quantum physics question come out in SPM yet. You are the 4th year sitting for the new syllabus. Okay, so maybe there is a chances. So it's good that you all know the idea lah. Okay. Now, so diagram 10.1 show a beam being directed to the photocell. So what is mean by work function? Okay, so let's get the reason first. The meaning. Okay, so work function is generally the minimal energy required for the photoelectron to be emitted from a metal surface. Okay, so this is the meaning. Okay, then proceed. Based on diagram 10.1, how a beam of light shone to a photocell can produce electric current. So generally, you are talking about the concept of photoelectric effect. That's why definition important or not important. Because you know the definitions, all these 4-mark questions, right? You can always put back the definition idea. Then you can get 1 or 2 marks out of that, okay? Okay, so firstly, we will shine the light, the photon are shone onto the metal. Then if the frequency of this photo energy exceed the threshold frequency or exceed the work function of the matter or the energy, okay, then photoelectric effect occurs. Photoelectrons are emitted. So they are emitted as the current. So this is how you all gain the 4 marks conceptual questions. Then C, okay, is a 10 marks questions. Diagram 10.2 show the path of a satellite. Table 10 show the J, K, L, and M specification for 4 satellite for telecommunication purpose. Then you are required to study the specifications of the 4 satellite and decide which satellite is most suitable to be used to make international video call clear road. Okay, international call, and give reason for your choice. Okay, so what is the function of the panel here? Generally, they used to convert the solar energy to electrical energy. So should it be a bigger surface area better or smaller surface area? So supposedly bigger, right? So this is how you're trying to choose so that you can have the best answer. So satellite material, is it fiberglass better or titanium? Okay, they need to be very strong. So titanium is a better material. And a video call is like a communication satellite. So geostationary is the correct idea. And lastly, diameter of the plate. We generally want big one, we don't want small one. So obviously, the choice is M. So same thing, once you choose correctly, okay, you can get 6 out of 10 marks. So that's why if you would to have time, don't go and sleep or leave the hall early in exam, just answer off so that who knows, because sometimes you confidently think that, oh, question 9, my table, I think I get it right, but who knows you choose wrongly, because your understanding for certain idea is not so clear. That's why you didn't choose the accurate one. Okay, so this is how you write the answer. Big panel size, why more solar cell can be placed and more light energy change to electrical energy. The body should be titanium. Why titanium? They are a strong material, as teacher mentioned, and not only strong, they are light, or you can say low density. Then we use geostationary satellite because the period of satellite orbit is equal to the period of Earth rotations, or orbital period is 24 hours. And the diameter of the plate should be big, so you can reflect more signal or more wave. And finally, you say, I choose M. And then you repeat that on what you say on left-hand side. Because it's a big panel size, satellite body is titanium, it's geostationary satellite, and the diameter of plate is big. Okay, then D, okay, back to the quantum idea. You see, they are combining the Form 4 gravitation topic and quantum physics, okay? So diagram 10.3 show a photocell made of lithium material with a value of threshold frequency F0 of 5.6 times 10 power of 14 hertz. Then the metal is then illuminated with a violet light with a wavelength of 4 times 10 power negative 7 meter. First, calculate the photon energy. So for information, what is the formula for photon energy? E equals to HF, okay? Planck constant times the frequency of light. But they give you frequency of light or not? No, they give you F0. F0 and frequency of light is different. So, but they give you the wavelength of light. We can get the idea by using C equals to F lambda. So I can also get the idea of F becomes C over lambda. So for your understanding, I will use E equals to H F initially, but I don't have frequency of light, but I have wavelength of light. So I have C over lambda, where C is speed of light lah. And then to find work function, we will relate work function with threshold frequency or HF naught. And lastly, part 3, we will use the Einstein equation of photon energy equals to work function plus K max. Since you already have this and this, automatically you can get K max off. So you get the idea, then teacher show you all the work. I show you all the working. So see, like mentioned, C over lambda. Okay, they good, they didn't give you all any prefix to confuse you all. So speed of light is 3 times 10 power 8, same. If they don't show in the questions, that means they will be in the formula list. Then you leave your answer at least 4 decimal point, and then in joule lah. And then work function HF naught. And then you get this answer in joule. And lastly, part 3, teacher say, what is the formula already? E equals to W plus K max. So K max equals to E minus W lah. So E minus W. And you get this lah in joule as well. Okay, so hopefully you all can do the calculation under the quantum physics topic lah. Okay, now we proceed to the last essay question. So last question is compulsory answer. So that's why teacher will say, you all don't like, wow, I want to do all 9 and 10. Okay, who knows, you think too much and then you use a lot of time, then end up you not enough time to do question 11. So don't risk, make sure you answer 11. Then you really have extra time, only you do the extra one. That's why I always say read the questions, no point you all rushing or you're greedy. I want to answer all questions. Okay, so question 11, they always have a part that easy to score. Teachers say, the conceptualization part, which comparison again, so not always last question, essay that will be hard. You'll still have part to gain marks. Okay, same thing. They also have definition. See or not? So questions say what? Diagram 11.1 and 11.2 show the light ray from two identical objects passing through the convex lens P and Q. Both lenses produce virtual image. F is the focal point of each lens. So first, what is the meaning of verb? Sure. So for information, virtual means image that cannot be formed on the screen. So what is a real image? Image that can be found on the screen. Also, example, I believe a majority of you all have a projector in school. So the image that project out, or you go cinema, right? You can see those image that on the screen, right? It is on the screen. So that's why it's called real image. Okay. But then if let's say, same thing, you have a lens and then you have object, okay? You cannot capture the image on the other side. That means this image is called verb. Sure, or the other side or same side, okay? Example, the image formed by the magnifying lens idea lah. Okay, part 2. With the reference to diagram 11.1 and 2, compare the thickness of lens. Okay, so this is the thing that they want us to compare. Thickness, focal length, and size of image. So 3 things already long. Then relate size and focal length. 4 point, power, and focal point. Focal length, 5 points. So sure, they will have 5 parts one. So that's why if you only write 2 statements or 2 sentences, that means you didn't read the questions carefully lah. Okay, so thickness, obviously, right? Thickness means this ma. So who is thicker? 11.1 is thicker. Then next, focal length. Focal length, who is greater? 11.2. Okay, then image 11.1 is bigger. So when the image size is bigger, the focal length is shorter. So generally, how we relate power with focal length, or high power, short focal length, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so this is the way how you all write it. Okay, you all can use the ideal lens P and Q or even diagram, no problem. That's why you see the first point I try to show you all. You can use symbol greater. Okay, the thickness of lens P is greater than Q. The focal length of lens P is less than lens Q. The size of image in 11.1 is bigger compared to 11.2. Then the focal length increases, size of image decreases, or power increases, focal length decreases, or inversely proportional, except for these relationship questions. Okay, B. Diagram 11.3 show a lens with unknown focal length. By using suitable operators, explain how the focal length of the lens can be estimated. Okay, to estimate or find out the focal length of lens, right? Actually, it's a very simple idea. First, you need to arrange the lens screen. Okay, you have a screen as well. I give you all some idea first, then only I show you all the answer scheme. Okay, one shot. So this is the screen. Okay, and then you're going to face it on the outside object window lah. So we always say this distant object. So imagine at far there is a big tree. So what you do is you're going to move your screen closer to the lens or further until you see a very sharp tree form here, the image. So for your understanding, the concept behind is all the ray that parallel to the lens will focus at the focus point. They'll focus at focus point, understand? Like this. So the point that we call it focus point, and this center of lens, this distance is called focal length. So this is how we get the idea of focal length. Okay, so in terms of sentences, how you're right, okay? So aim the lens toward a distant window or object, then place a white screen behind the lens. Adjust the position of the screen until a sharp image, the keyword sharp image is formed on the screen. Then you're going to measure the distance between the screen and the center of the lens. Be careful, use the correct term. Don't just say between the lens. It's the center of the lens. Then this distance is called focal length. So there's 5 points here. So any 4 points, you already right, you already get 4 marks. Okay, then last part is the 10 marks of questions. You are given two convex lenses R and S with focal length 80 cm and 5 cm respectively. Both lenses are used to build a simple astronomical telescope at normal adjustment. Explain how you're going to build the simple astronomical telescope. The explanation should involve the arrangement of the lens and the distance between the lens, and then suggest modification that need to be done on the telescope to produce a bigger and clearer image. Now, basically for these questions, right, if you want to draw out the ray diagram for telescope, is also can one. Of course, it cannot get 10 marks. You need to elaborate a bit of the modification from this point. But from the idea of this telescope, if you're able to draw out, all right, you get some points already. Okay, so I know that this question is not easy, but then somehow you need to learn the best way is you need to know the construction of a telescope. So you can always go through YouTube about ray diagram to draw the telescope. It will be easier for you all to capture. Or even now, teacher go through very quick with you. So generally, if you really want to draw, so first step, you draw a principal axis. And then you're going to place two lenses here. For understanding, place two lenses. Okay. Now, so whether it's telescope or microscope, you actually have two lenses. The lens that facing the object is called what? Objective lens. And then another lens that near to your eye is called eyepiece or eye lens, no problem. And I always tell students telescope have a short form called TOLIS. Okay, so what is this short form about? It means telescope, the objective lens. Objective lens is long, okay? The focal length is long. Then eyepiece, the focal length is what? Short. This is a very important idea, even is applicable for objective question. They like to ask which statement is correct, right? So FO is longer than FE. Okay, so obviously this will be R, this will be S. So you assume assuming you use a proper scale lah. Maybe 1 cm is to 10 cm. That's mean I'm going to draw 8 cm and 0.5 lah. Something like that, okay? If you want to be proper. But if they didn't mention draw to the actual scale, you just showing that, this is longer than this. So for information, right, the focal point of objective lens and eyepiece that are exactly at the same point. Okay, so if again, you always know about teacher's idea about lens, you always push through the idea. I always got mentioned one, you all need to remember the 6 case. Womb, rim, wrist, rib, rib. So I always denote them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Telescope is the combinations of ray diagram for case 6 and also case 2 for information. So we are viewing the object at infinity. Case 6 of. So our image is generally formed at focus point 1. This is the thing that you all need to know. This is the first image I want. Okay, so how do you construct the diagram? So any ray that cut through center, and also this point, you draw a straight line, right? So I teach you all draw the 2 ray one. Okay, so you already construct 1 ray. So another ray, what you all draw is you just above the line, you draw another ray. Draw another ray, parallel, because infinity they are from infinity, and they're supposed to intersect at the point here as well. Okay, then later on, what you do for the next idea, you already construct the first part. Okay, so this first image is actually real, inverted, and diminished one. This. Okay, then next step, I'm going to draw a reference ray. I will tell students. So same thing, this point, you can cut. But this line, generally for understanding, right? I just dotted because I want to know what happened to the blue color ray that come out from the eyepiece. Okay, but I must have a reference, then I can draw. So for your understanding, case 2 idea now is your image is at focus point, but the final image will be at infinity. So last idea is you're going to make sure that the blue ray come out parallel to the purple ray here. Okay, then they actually, you extend it, then dotted. They are parallel for your information. And then all your eyes will be here. Okay, this one is actually dotted. Then your eye final is where teacher say at infinity. Final image at infinity. And the characteristic is virtual, inverted, and magnified. Okay, so if you're able to draw it out, okay, because I don't know, maybe they come out in structure or what, so you know the idea is good. So total distance of the 2 lenses supposedly is what? FO plus FE. You show like that, you get a marks, okay? This is the normal adjustment of the ray. You can draw it out, so you already get 2. Then next, how do you make it magnify? The magnification formula is FO over FE. So the longer it is, the greater it is. Then you see I mentioned R is objective lens, S is eyepiece. I already get marks. Okay, then I put my object at infinity. I form the image at the focus point. I get another marks. So all this is idea lah. Okay, so yeah, now we see the idea on how you construct it into a table form. Okay, you see objective lens is lens R. Why? Form a real image because real inverted diminished. Notice just now teacher showed. Then eyepiece is lens S to form a larger image or virtual image. The total distance between the lens is 85 cm. Just now teacher said FO plus FE. This is the normal adjustment in telescope. Then we're supposed to have a bigger diameter for objective lens so that more light can pass through by brighter image. and objective length with longer focal length. Why? Higher magnification. Or vice versa, you say eyepiece with shorter focal length. Like just now, teacher mentioned all the idea, right? Just now, teacher got draw the telescope idea, all this, okay? So that's why if you understand the idea clearly, you can construct the ray diagram for telescope, then you can understand what I explained all this easily lah. Oh, yeah, so teacher hope that you all have a better understanding on how a telescope work. Same thing, you want to understand how microscope work, okay? So same thing. Also, you know how to construct ray diagram is a better idea. So for understanding a very long time, they didn't come out in SPM question as essay question lah. This telescope microscope idea, okay? Most of the idea for the past few years, they like to ask the internal reflections refractions idea. So teacher hope that you all really go through it, okay? Because who know if they come out like question 11, then it is not easy, you know, but you need to get the 20 marks one, right? 20 marks is a lot. If 20% of the whole paper, you know. So that's why, yeah, teacher will really encourage you all to really understand the idea of telescope and microscope. So hopefully, whatever I explained today, you all have a better understanding, especially on the light topic. Okay, so that's it for all the questions under the Negeri Sembilan paper. Okay, see you on next paper. Bye-bye, everyone.